Well, Adam, it's such a pleasure to chat with you a little bit about these unique products. And this is something that this technology caught your eye. And I mean, you were not in this world prior to, correct?
That's correct. I mean, we've been in the world of polyphenol delivery since 2014, when we came up with the curcumin whey protein conjugate. But we only started our cancer research program in 2017. And that's because we started to realize that to address unmet needs in cancer, we were going to need the true solution was bioavailable polyphenols, because those have a unique ability to address metabolic pathways that can be out of balance in cancer.
And to address that, and that's always, you know, the delivery. I mean, you can swallow a pill, but how is that pill gonna get the constituents, get to where it needs to go? That's always the challenge. So how did you bridge that gap?
Well, and that's the problem, right? Especially, I mean, let's take curcumin as an example. Curcumin was discovered because of the epidemiologists that studied population trends. And they saw certain populations on the planet had lower cancer rates, lower Alzheimer's rates, lower diabetes rates. And when they peeled back the onion, the independent variable was the presence of turmeric in the daily diet, right? And so when the scientists then peeled back what's in turmeric, it was the curcuminoids. And so they thought, okay, we have a therapy now for Alzheimer's and cancer and all these things. But when they delivered even up to 12 grams of curcumin a day in capsules to a patient, and you can't imagine, I mean, that's nearly impossible. That's like taking 16 capsules a day. They only saw a 50 nanogram signature in the blood. So taking massive amounts of a material, not getting into the body is going to give you no results. That's where our breakthrough technology came in with the LPS patented technology, where we bind the soluble molecular polyphenol to a protein. And as the body's digesting the protein, those polyphenols are relieved and allowed to enter into the body.
That's amazing. And how did it make you, being the person to drive this technology? What was your background to kind of make you the right individual?
It was compassion, honestly. A researcher, we were getting known for our ability to move botanical drugs into the marketplace. My company, House Bioceuticals at the time, we were driving botanical ingredients that we had identified in India as treatments for eczema and psoriasis. And we had a collaboration with Procter & Gamble. Prior to that, I was a CEO of a pharmaceutical company, so I have a deep background in pharmaceutical development and technologies. It was a simple researcher in a lupus research group at the University of Oklahoma that came to me and said, hey, I have a curcumin technology, would you help me? And I didn't want to help the guy, because I thought, curcumin? It's already been figured out. It's nothing new, nothing sexy about curcumin anymore. But it turns out he had a unique view on curcumin that nobody else had. And that little seed became an opportunity for us to discover liquid protein scaffolding. And so when we found what we had learned and we were seeing the results that we're getting, the first time we made the stuff, right? So we had the idea about using the solubilized curcumin, binding it to the protein. I gave a tub of this stuff to a friend of mine who was a Navy SEAL, a retired. He had terrible tendonitis. He couldn't put any pressure on his elbows. You know the kind of thing, you have to rock yourself up out of bed because of the excruciating pain. I've never experienced that, but I heard it's torturous. He called me the next morning and said, it's gone. He was chipping golf balls off his back porch saying, I don't know how it's possible, but I woke up this morning, the tendonitis is gone. He was curling dumbbells, and we would get story after story of people overcoming inflammation issues in their body. I couldn't ignore that, Doc. I couldn't ignore it.
And we know cancer in itself is obviously an inflammatory disease. There's always inflammation prior to, and all the cancer drivers, I mean, they're inflammatory in nature. So to be able to control those drivers using natural agents seems like a very kind of amazing and safe way to go about it.
If you can influence the machinery inside the cell, you can influence cancer outcomes. And that's what these bioactive plant compounds can do. Curcumin inhibits NF-kappa beta and NRF2 and some of these metabolic pathways that are highly deranged in cancer. These other polyphenols that we're using have even more powerful mechanisms of action on cancer cells. That's why we're so excited about the opportunity of how these compounds, these products, can have such a high impact on people's outcomes.
So take me kind of quickly through, you have different pathways, pathway 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, how do you use these, and when are they applicable? I mean, do you use them all at the same time, or do you go in a certain,
certain way? Yeah. A lot of people think, well, I have to do pathway 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4, and that's not the approach. These are designed to be used in conjunction with a physician or a nutritionist that understands the biology of the cancer. We've created reference materials that help a physician or a nutritionist to specify which pathway products would have the most impact on the metabolic biology of their cancer. And that's the goal. We want to hit a cancer cell where it's the most weakest, right? And we know, based upon what's published in the literature, where these cancer cells are vulnerable. But now we can match those vulnerabilities to opportunities to help weaken those cancers with these products.
Yeah, because you have each cancer have specific drivers that's kind of unique to that cancer, and then to be able to match that to the botanicals that impact those drivers, that becomes a very powerful way to go about it.
That's right. You weaken the cancer, and then they're more susceptible to other interventions, vitamin C infusions, even low-dose chemotherapy, you name it. This creates opportunities for patients to get better outcomes.
And what have you heard anecdotally, people that have gone through some of these things, and what are some of the stories that you've heard?
By and large, most people that start using our products feel better almost immediately. They notice that the biology of what's going on in their body has shifted. We don't always see people go into remission. It's highly dependent upon, as you know, whether a patient's willing to go to a low glycemic diet, whether they're willing to do the work themselves in order to help themselves to achieve better outcomes. But our products play a pivotal role in helping the patients achieve the results that they desire. We've seen anything from full remission, where people have not had recurrences of cancer, to people actually, even in late stage cancer, having a more tolerable and less painful passing.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Some people, they just want kind of the last phase of their life to be more enjoyable, that they can be more present, that they don't have to be on pain medication, where they're not able to interact with their family and enjoy that last phase in their life. So that is a huge value in itself. But then also to do this in conjunction with other therapies, like you mentioned, you can't, the foundation is still what you're eating, what you're thinking, how you're moving, so all these are foundational, and then to put these on top of that becomes very powerful.
Yeah, it's really a holistic approach that we believe in, I know that you adhere to, that can really help patients to achieve what they want.
Great. Thank you so much, Adam.
Doc,
I appreciate this.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
my
pleasure.
Yeah.